Just days after this novel version of coronavirus surfaced in Wuhan, China, Netflix released a series called Pandemic. Talk about good timing. One of the stars of that series was a doctor called Jacob Glanville. In the documentary, he talked about how his small lab is able to beat major actors at finding treatments for deadly diseases. Watch this.
We should not have been able to beat major pharmaceutical companies who have way more money than us and they have way more people than us. But my experience in big pharmas is they typically move very slow and they're risk adverse. And so there actually aren't that many people as you might think working on new techniques. So that's worked to our advantage.
Now the physician you just saw says he may have found some kind of cure for coronavirus. Dr. Glanville joins us now. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on. So obviously, I should just say at the outset, we approach everything like this with skepticism and also with the mind of a non-scientist. So explain for our audience, me, what this is and why you think it works.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Tucker. So what we have done is we've engineered neutralizing antibodies that go and block the virus. The coronavirus, if you were to zoom in on it, you would see a ring of spikes, and it uses those spikes to invade human cells. We've identified a series of super potent antibodies that block those spikes and therefore make the virus no longer infectious.
Huh. So is this something that is done to defeat other viruses?
Yeah, so this is the thing that turned the tide against Ebola. Ebola used to be a death sentence, about 50% mortality rate, and then once a good antibody neutralizing solution was made, then I think 94% of people can walk away. So that transformed Ebola from a dangerous crisis to a manageable treatment. We've also got antibodies to treat malaria, rabies. We've got antibodies to treat RSV in babies. Antibodies are used for antivenom. So this is an extremely well-established platform technology, and it has the advantage that you can produce antibodies much faster than you can make a vaccine. And as I'd heard you mention previously on all that modeling, every day counts. We're venting an incredible amount of money out of our economy and risking lives, and so you want to have a medicine as quickly as possible.
Right. Well, that is exactly right. So assuming this does work, how long would it take to get from your lab to the public?
Well, yeah. So, and to address the question of skepticism, I'm glad you brought that up. Our next move is we hand this off to the U.S. military, a consortium from the Gates Foundation, and some private groups. And all of them are going to test the potency of neutralization of our therapeutic. We're also working with Charles River Laboratories that run safety and tox to make sure the stuff's safe to put into people. And we're going to go into scaled up manufacture. So at that point, what you do is you do a phase 1/2 human trial. And we're aiming to do that towards the end of the summer, around August. You're giving it to about 600 patients. An antibody you can give to a patient, and it works within 5 to 10 days to protect them. Whereas a vaccine, you need 6 or 7 weeks before the person's protected. So that's another advantage. And as soon as we know that A, it's safe, so people can take it without it hurting them, and B, that it's effective, that they receive an antibody and they're no longer dying or getting much more sick, then at that point you can release the drug through something called compassionate use. And this is something that was done also in the Ebola crisis, where if you don't have something FDA approved yet, but you've got proof of efficacy and there's nothing else good, you could start releasing that to the masses.
Last super quick question, because our segments on TV are not long enough really to explain something this complex, and I know some of our viewers are going to want to follow up by searching online. If you wanted to type into Google a term that would get you to an explanation, a deeper explanation of what this is, what would you type in?
I would type in centivax.com, which is our website, and it has a whole bunch of information around monoclonal therapeutics.
Centivax.
That's right.
Centivax.com. Great. Dr. Glanville, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thanks very much, and of course, we're rooting for you.
Thank you very much.
Damn right we are.